Hi everyone, thank you for joining us again. You're tuned into the second part of our E3 predictions and Dreamcast. We just left off with the end of Bethesda, and now we are on to Square Enix. Yeah, I suppose we'll move on to the next conference, which is Tuesday, 5 a.m. New Zealand time, and that is Square Enix. So I don't have too much to say about these guys because they're mostly JRPGs. But we'll run through a few things here, and I'm sure you guys can chime in with some thoughts. So, first thing I reckon they're going to talk about, well, they're definitely going to talk about, is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the new Tomb Raider game, which was leaked via someone on a New York subway with their laptop open and a PowerPoint presentation of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was fantastic.
Was it leaked via the window as well, like a reflection in the window as the subtrain went through a tunnel or something? So no one even saw it on the laptop screen. They saw it in a window reflection. They were like, oh my God.
That would have been amazing, but I think it was just someone just saw over his shoulder or something like that. Yeah. So that's a real shame, and I highly doubt that person still has their job. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We had Rise of the Tomb Raider a couple of years ago, and that was great. I really, really liked that game. Had a blast. It was essentially just sort of an Uncharted style adventure, as all the other Tomb Raiders have been, and obviously Uncharted took inspiration from Tomb Raider, so it's kind of come full circle. But yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I guess it's going into Lara's final piece of the puzzle as to how she became the Tomb Raider. I think that's where they're going with this one. It's sort of...
I mean, is she not the Tomb Raider already?
She's raided
she's raiding tombs.
Yeah.
She's definitely raided some tombs, but I think their whole arc is these are prequels to the Lara that you see in the movie. Oh, because you know that film that came out recently, that Tomb Raider.
Like this, it can't be, can it? Like it can't actually be prequels to the old games because there was Tomb Raider Revelations on PS1 where you played as Lara as a kid and she lived in Transylvania and had to hunt vampires.
That is amazing. I did not know that was a thing. That's some solid lore right there. But
yeah,
no, I'm pretty sure it is because she's really young in the first two Tomb Raider reboots that we played from Crystal Dynamics. She's very, very young, and in the first one, she is, she's just a lady who gets stranded on an island and slowly gets beaten down by life, and you see her, the first time she kills someone in that game. I think the first time she kills an animal, she sort of like breaks down and has a cry and stuff. And it's before she became the gnarled and grizzled Tomb Raider of old. So I think the Shadow of the Tomb Raider is that final chapter in that particular saga of her life.
Can you dual wield pistols yet? In the reboot?
Don't think so.
I'm so surprised they didn't put that in, even the first one in the reboot, just as a nod, even just at one point, like they did with the Devil May Cry reboot, where the mop falls on his head, so he looks like old Dante, and then he looks in the mirror and goes, that's fucking ridiculous, and throws it off. Like, even a nod like that, where, a second one slides across the floor to her, and she picks it up, and then she just goes like, that would be impractical, or something, and tosses it aside. Like, I'm really surprised they haven't done that at all yet with the series.
I reckon maybe they're saving it for a massive reveal at the end of this game where like she finally cracks and she becomes the Tomb Raider and she just picks up dual pistols and just starts wailing on people.
That would be awesome. I'd love it. That would be a really cool twist just to make her into the psychopath at the end. I know they'll never do that because you've got to be relatable and you've got to feel empathy for her and all that sort of thing. But what I want to see in this final Tomb Raider game of this saga of her life, whatever you call it, is a T-Rex made up of 2 polygons, like the original Tomb Raider games. That are like near impossible to kill. So yeah, that's the first one on Square Enix. We move into Balthazar. This is your territory, man. Kingdom Hearts 3. So that's coming out this year. Yeah,
it must come out this year, and they must have something like an actual finite release date, and hopefully one that's quite soon after the conference, so they can give like a final trailer rather than just another trailer kind of thing.
Does it not have a release date yet?
I don't believe so. It might have a month, but it doesn't have a day, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not like into Kingdom Hearts, or it's a bit too complex for me. But I was watching some gameplay of it and just all the Pixar lands and all. Man, that looks amazing. It just looks so good. Yeah, I'm excited to look at it. I'm not excited to play it, but I'm excited to look at it. But yeah, they'll definitely show off a new world. Potentially, I mean, Disney owns Star Wars now, right? So would Star Wars get incorporated into Kingdom Hearts?
It's not too far-fetched considering Pirates of the Caribbean has been in it in the past, like where you've kind of gone into a world and suddenly the graphics have, had that, tried to be realistic rather than cartoony.
Right.
So it's not a stretch, I don't think. I mean, I think it's a stretch in that I don't know that they will, because Kingdom Hearts 3 has been in development for so fucking long.
Yeah.
Disney didn't own Star Wars when development started. So I feel like probably not, but just in terms of fitting in theme with the world, it's not too out there considering we've had pirates.
Yeah, that's true. And another thing I just wanted to mention after watching that footage is I didn't realize that when you go to these different worlds, your companions change, or you change as well.
Yeah.
Like
so you
the whole
change
style
into
changes.
that world version of Sora and
That's
Donald
really
and Goofy.
cool. That's so cool, because I saw the Monsters Inc. one and it showed Donald Duck and he had one eye, and he was just making these weird like noises, and it was kind of horrifying, and I loved it. It was really, really cool. But yeah, pumped to see more of that game. If not really to play it, because I think I'm too far gone from the lore on that one to get into it at this point. But the next thing, which is, I don't know if we'll see it. Maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake? What do you guys reckon?
Yes.
Yes? I haven't heard good things about it recently. It's changed developers.
Really?
Yeah, in sort of the last month or so, it's changed developers, which is never a great sign.
Well, it makes sense. Square can't be trusted with the Final Fantasy IP anymore, so...
True. They're like, no, you guys do it. We can't help ourselves. We're going to make it linear.
They gave it to Machine Games.
Oh, man. Now you're talking. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I suppose, I mean, they could always show another CGI trailer thingy. But they've got to show, it's been a while. They've got to show some gameplay or something now. They must have something done.
Yeah. Another trailer, maybe?
Yeah, just fully CGI?
Something.
Or?
It's got to be something, right? Yeah, well, no, I'd hope that there's some in-engine stuff, bit of gameplay. Yeah, there's got to be something.
Yeah.
My soul desires it.
Do you guys think it's too early for Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah.
It's too early.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll cross that one off the list.
But we should segue. I want to segue into my only pie in the sky for Square Enix. Episode 1 of the Final Fantasy remake is out this year, and it's on Switch.
Fuck off.
Regan, every goddamn time. Oh, man. Wait, so exclusively on Switch, or?
No, not exclusively, but you can play it on Switch.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure that'd be the best place for them to show that.
Hey,
off.
look, if you guys aren't getting on board, that's fine. I'm just saying it would be great, wouldn't it?
It would be great.
I don't deny that. I just, there's pie in the sky, and then there's just kill me now predictions.
Yeah, I don't mean to diminish your excitement, Regan. It's going to be on Switch, man. It's going to be on Switch for sure.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. So someone's coming along for the ride. Shit.
I'm in it. My head's in the clouds with you. Have you got any others?
No, that's it. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Yep. It's going to happen. Balthazar, what do you got?
So I've got, firstly, my non-part, just my actual predictions I think will be there. The reason why too early for Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 15 will be there. They've, of course, announced Year 2 Season Pass with 4 new DLCs coming to Final Fantasy 15. A Noctis story, an Aranea story, Archimedes, I've forgotten the bad guy's name, and a fourth one, Luna Freya. What the fuck is that going to be? Wedding gown shopping, the DLC. But yeah, so I think 15's going to be there. I think that's going to be the bulk of their Final Fantasy showing they have, showing off maybe a little bit from each of the DLCs that will be coming out.
Yep.
And that's it for realistic predictions. My pie in the sky stuff is also Switch related. Final Fantasies 1 through 9 coming to Switch.
Whoa, in like a collection?
Ooh.
Not in a collection. I mean, that's too much. Too big. Over time, I mean, most of them have been remade by now. Some of them already for Nintendo systems, like Final Fantasy 1 was remade for 3DS and stuff like that.
Right.
So I would love to see Final Fantasies 1 through 9, i.e. all of the super old ones that have already been remade for modern systems, coming to Switch, since Final Fantasy was originally a Nintendo IP, so just fucking give us all of them. And along with that, 1 through 9, also Tactics, because, you know, why not?
Tactics was for original PlayStation? Or Tactics from Game Boy Advance?
I only played the Game Boy Advance one, but bring them all. Bring them all.
Bring them all.
So yeah, I'd love, like, I don't think we're going to get any new Final Fantasy games for the Switch because, you know, Square are all about their fucking graphics. And the Switch just doesn't cut it for cutting edge graphics. But yeah, for sure, bring all the old ones over in HD and everything.
That's a great idea.
Nice one.
Great idea.
That must be about 100,000 hours of JRPG if they brought over.
That's my life.
That's
done.
Jesus, man. Oh, the amount of discs that takes up. Right, so my dream prediction for Square Enix is a proper Chrono Trigger remake. Not the shitty one that they released.
Shit,
Yeah. So not the crap one that they released on mobile, and I think it might be on Steam as well.
With Akira Toriyama on board?
So shite.
Yeah. The, like, an actual, you know, one that people will put their heart and soul into, and the UI isn't all horrible, and a proper Chrono Trigger remake, guys. Proper.
Abe, you've nailed that, mate.
You just won E3.
That's I'm not a JRPG guy, but I really like Chrono Trigger. I like it a lot. I like time travel, and hey,
a Chrono Trigger remake would be awesome, but even if that's too much for them, just a Chrono game, like, because a similar thing happened forever ago where people were crying out for remakes of the Xenogears games,
right?
And the company that made them was just like, it's too much effort, we're not going to do that, we'd rather make a new game. And Xenoblade came out, and it was basically the spiritual successor to Xeno that encompassed everything it was, but was just a new name. I'd be down for just a new Chrono series.
Restart the franchise, right?
If a remake is too hard because they don't want to potentially ruin something that's already so, you know, near and dear to people's hearts, just do a new Chrono game that's not necessarily Chrono Trigger, you know, sequel or anything, just Chrono fucking Sheath. I don't know.
Chrono Sheath. What a title.
Chrono Bandolier.
Yeah, so that's mine. So we'll move on to the next conference, which is Ubisoft, which is a company that I actually am quite excited about nowadays, just because they really have cleaned up their attitude, or, you know, cleaned up their games. Not even, their attitude was never bad. It was just their games were all the same and real boring. And Assassin's Creed Origins was awesome, so I'm not too worried anymore. And apparently Far Cry 5 was, you know, pretty fun.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. So Ubisoft, Tuesday, 8 a.m. New Zealand time. First one, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, set in Greece. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I hope that Mario's in it.
Yeah, for sure. He will be. Or just the Odyssey, the ship.
Yeah, the Grecian. Yeah, Mario's notoriously Grecian, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The Greeks and Italians, they're kind of, you know.
Ooh, I wouldn't. We might have some Greek and Italian listeners. You might offend with that one. They might have.
You guys are all great. You're great. Anyway, yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I hope that they continue to really push what they were going for in in Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
I hope they kind of take the RPG-ness and they push it further, because I do remember with that game I ended up kind of in some ways hitting the limit of like the progression in like gear and things like that, what felt like fairly early.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know, I feel like they just need to kind of like push that a little bit further and make sure that there's enough progression in that for like massive end game kind of stuff. Like that was the one thing that like I wasn't amazed at with that game. So hopefully if they do it, they push it further and they take that idea and they run with it.
I would love for them to include less stuff, so I can actually finish the game. That would be much appreciated. I loved Origins, but I don't think I got anywhere near finishing that game. I just sort of played it until I had to sell all my possessions. Wasn't ever able to finish it. But yeah, less stuff. I would really appreciate that. Thanks, Ubisoft. If you could not make the game so brimming with things to do. It would be great. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. I think Origins was fantastic. They've got all the kit right now. They've got all the assets. They've got those systems designed now, so they can just do their thing, reskin it, change a bunch of stuff, turn it Grecian, and it should be amazing.
Bleed it dry again. Yeah. Just carry on bleeding it dry like they did with the first
Hey, Regan, we're positive. We're positive here. We're positive about it.
Okay, yeah, sorry, Ubisoft. You guys are doing well. Good job.
You're good. Next one we've got is Beyond Good and Evil 2, which some people I saw online weren't thinking this would appear, but Ubisoft actually said, yes, no, it's gonna be there in a big way. So we're definitely going to see more of Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is really cool, because that trailer was very surprising. that came out of the
big time.
Sort of had that foul-mouthed monkey, that Cockney sort of foul-mouthed ape, chimpanzee, and the pig, and then a whole bunch of crazy space vehicles. Looked awesome. I've never played Beyond Good and Evil 1, but I do have it on my wish list on Steam, so I'm planning on picking it up at some point. Not too distant.
Maybe they just mean it's going to be there in a big way, literally. Like there's just going to be a 10-foot tall cardboard stand out.
That would be amazing, and that sounds like the sort of joke that Ubisoft would do, which would be great. I wonder if they'll bring back... Do you guys think the conferences have been better or worse with Aisha Tyler?
Oh, in retrospect,
it's
better. Like they've had more rewatch value, and but, more cringe compilation value.
Oh man,
yeah.
Bring her back. Yeah, I feel like last year's E3 was a little bit of a letdown in terms of cringe, aside from obviously that guy, the YouTube guy.
Oh man, I completely forgotten about it. We should have mentioned that with EA.
Oh, Jesse Wellens.
Oh man, that was that was hard to watch. That was like on my borderline of what's acceptable to watch. Oh yeah, that was rough. That was rough. Apparently an autoprompter fail, not his fault, but it was not great. I was already not on board for some random YouTube dude. I had no idea who it was, and I was supposed to care, and then he sort of just stumbled his way through his lines. Not a great look, but yeah, please no more of that. I should have mentioned that before. Please, for the love of God, no YouTube quote unquote influencers. I hate that term so much. I hate it. But yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Watch Dogs 3. Now, I don't think we'll see much of this, but I think we'll get a glimpse. I think we'll get a tease, and it's been rumored to be set in London, which I'm actually really excited about. Because Watch Dogs 2, they could do some... They know what's good. They know what people want. Watch Dogs 2 was really, really good. What were you going to say, sorry, Regan?
I was going to say they could really... there's a lot of character in London, and, the English as well have a lot of character, and I think that could play into it really well. They could do something really, really cool with the Watch Dogs formula in London, I think.
They also have Victorian London pre-built from Assassin's Creed Syndicate, so they don't have
copy paste.
Huge... yeah, just put Watch Dogs in Victorian England. Try to hack into a bloody horse and cart.
Yeah, just
I'd play that.
Droning about.
I would play that too. Be a very short game. Yeah, so I'm quite excited for that Watch Dogs 3, because it seems like they're on a good... That was the other game that I was thinking of that Ubi has sort of rebought my goodwill, is Watch Dogs 2. That and Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm back on board. and Far Cry 5 to some extent as well. So yeah, that'll be cool. So Skull and Bones. Now, do you guys remember this game?
Oh, this was their kind of Navy battle old school pirate ship game,
Yeah,
right?
it was them being like, hey, you guys like the sailing in Assassin's Creed Black Flag? We'll have a whole bunch more sailing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's been like around for a couple years now,
It
right?
has,
like
yeah.
2 years, or was that last year that they
Nah,
announced that?
it wasn't
Okay.
last year. It was the previous year for sure. It didn't show up at all last year.
Man, that's a long time to be developing a game about boats.
It is.
You know?
It is.
Like,
Yeah, I remember seeing the announcement for it and was kind of like, That was sort of my reaction to the whole thing. But
I think we'll see it. We'll see it there.
Yeah, as long as they don't have like a 10-minute gameplay demo, because that is not something that shows off particularly well, I don't think, in terms of just straight up gameplay. If they're like,
put that on the floor.
If they're like, you can put all this crazy shit on your ship, like, gold cannons and pink decals, then get the guys who did Far Cry Blood Dragon involved, and get them involved in it. I'd be well into that. You can have like some sort of weird cyber sale or something. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's the last of my sort of predictions for Ubi. You guys got anything else?
Far Cry 5 DLC.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, of course,
Yep.
of course. Has to be. Anything else?
Not as far as like realistic.
Okay.
ones.
Okay. Regan, do you want to jump in with your first dream prediction then?
My dream, well,
Your own-
my
your
one
only-
only, because
Yeah.
I had a real hard time thinking of these predictions, but you can see this is a theme.
Fucking Switch.
Ubisoft, they are going to do an Assassin's Creed spin-off on Switch.
Man, I'm not hyped for that.
No?
No. Assassin's Creed is one of those games that benefits from being big and bold and looking good and having a big world, and I don't want to play that on a console that's for lack of a better term underpowered than the rest of them, or redirects its power to other things, sort of thing. But
What about if like the Assassin's Creed formula or name was kind of put against a game and they changed the formula up a bit, so it's not open world, it's more kind of like stealthy, smaller levels.
I'm a bit more on board.
That kind of
I'm
game.
a bit more on board. If it's sort of a change, if it's a more linear kind of thing, I'm a bit more intrigued by that for sure.
Yeah, sweet. Lock that in.
All right.
Get on the hype train.
Excellent.
It's happening.
Assassin's Creed's Slimline or something like.
Yeah.
Bare bones.
The important
Skull
thing.
and bare bones.
The really important. the kind of key takeaway with this is that it'll be on Switch.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yep. Okay. Balthazar, what do you got in terms of dreams?
All about the Switch.
Oh, my
Prince of
God.
Persia, Sands of Time, Warrior
Dude!
Within, and the third emo one. But on Switch.
Man. Well, you kind of have half stolen my dream prediction, which is a full remake of the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much the same thing.
Warrior Within.
I'm pretty sure this was on your list last year, wasn't it?
I just love that game.
You guys.
I just love Sands of
good.
Time.
It
and I
probably
want-
was, to be fair. Yeah, it probably was on it. But,
I want more of
that's a good series. Fucking give it to us again.
It is fantastic. Warrior Within and Two Thrones or Three Thrones.
That was
or something
it.
like
Two
that?
Thrones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Two
because it
Thrones,
was his normal throne and his fucking emo prince throne when he went into the Shadow Realm to fight Yugi.
And Warrior Within was pretty emo as well, that game, right?
Yeah,
He
they
was
were
all-
a bit
he-
weird, but still good.
Yeah. Yeah. Warrior Within was really stressful because it had that bloody shadow demon thing chasing you the entire game, and it always freaked me out, man. Didn't enjoy that game as much as Sands of Time. Sands of Time, I think, is close to a masterpiece in my opinion. But yeah, I would love a remake of Sands of Time, or just something in that same vein. Even a new Prince of Persia. Hey, let's go low. New Prince of Persia, Ubi, make it happen.
Well, the fucking reboot they did on PS3 and shit was fantastic, despite what everyone else in the world says. It was a phenomenal
I've never
game.
played that. Is it on PC?
Probably, yeah. I would say it is. I don't know for a
Excellent.
fact, but I would say it almost certainly is, since Ubisoft have their, what is it, Ubi Play launch or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay, I'll pick that up at the next summer sale.
Nolan North is Prince, so you know it's good.
Wicked. Regan, what were you having a laugh about there?
Oh no, I was just laughing at the emphasis that Balthazar was putting on his statement around it being a good game. Like it was good.
Brilliant.
Despite the fact that everyone in the world disagrees.
I remember people saying people didn't like it because you couldn't die or something. Like your partner always pulled you off. Or that's not the right term.
You can't die and there's no enemies.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Yeah, your partner always pulled you to safety. Your partner... That would be an entirely different game if your partner always pulled you off. Right. Let's move on to Sony. Now, this is a big boy. This is always my most anticipated conference because Sony has a bunch of awesome exclusives that I really look forward to. So Sony is Tuesday, 1 p.m. New Zealand time. First one I've got for Sony, surprising no one. It's been announced. We've seen probably more of it than I would have liked to see by now. Last of Us Part 2. Now, Balthazar, I know you're not very hyped for Last of Us Part 2. You would have liked them to leave the series alone.
But
obviously,
as it stands, Last of Us 1 is a 10 out of 10. All they do with the sequel is risk ruining the franchise perpetually being a 10 out of 10. If the second game is a 9 out of 10, then Last of Us is now a franchise that's not a perfect franchise. So just leave it. Leave it at 1. It's perfect.
I definitely understand that, but I'm always on board for more of a good thing. What if they can outdo themselves? What if they can get another 10 out of 10? Who knows? But yeah, I'm worried because this is one of the 4 games that Sean Layden has mentioned that they're going to be doing a quote unquote deep dive on, and I don't need to see any more about this game. I know it's there. I know it's coming. I've seen too much, frankly. We saw that crazy segment where that lady got her arm broke by a claw hammer. And it was pretty horrific. Yeah. Regan, you got any thoughts on this, man?
I totally see where you're coming from. Like, we know it's there. All we need to do is just sit tight and wait for it to happen. Yep. I kind of agree. It's a bit scary. I feel I'm worried for you, Abe, because this is a big thing for you,
man.
Like,
I'm kind of dreading it, but I also have to watch it because it's now my job. Like that's what I do now. I watch these things and I talk about them and I write about them. So yeah, I'm kind of worried, but at points I might, if we do a reaction stream to the Sony conference as well, I might end up shielding my face and blocking my ears, and that will make for some great viewing. Yeah. Not too sure about this.
I'm not too worried. Like I have faith that they will. The word deep dive is concerning, but I don't think that they would do anything to kind of like mar the anticipation for the game. I don't think they're going to spoil it.
No, they're very careful about what they show. I mean, Neil Druckmann, Bruce Straley's gone from Naughty Dog, so Neil Druckmann is helming this one. I think he's both directing and co-writing this. I think he just wrote it last time and Straley directed, but he's a safe pair of hands, Neil Druckmann. So yeah, I'm not too concerned either, Regan. I'm just concerned more for I want to go in clean, man. I want to go in clean.
Yeah. I totally get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
We'll see. We'll see. And I mean that kind of applies to the next prediction here, which isn't a prediction at all. We all know it's going to be there. Spider-Man. I think we've seen too much of Spider-Man. I don't think we need to see any more. It's coming out this year.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, both of these games, it's the same rule applies, that we know they're coming. To be fair, like, I think seeing more of Spider-Man will get me, like, I'm quite pumped for this game. I think it looks amazing.
Yeah, me too.
I just want to see more of Spider-Man doing cool Spider-Man stuff. I don't want, like, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit of story or something, but I don't want too much.
I don't want to see him swinging around a city anymore because I feel like it might ruin it for me when I'm swinging around the city. And of course they're going to show him swinging around a city. That's what Spider-Man is. So, like, that's 100% Spider-Man. So I'm like, shit. I really hope they just show QTEs the whole time now.
The tough thing is going to be that like we're going to get used to seeing this like rehearsed Spider-Man swinging around a city doing it really well, and then everyone's going to get the games in their hand and they're going to suck at it to start off with.
Yep.
And yeah, that's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough learning curve.
It is indeed. Balthazar, any thoughts on Spiderman?
Nah, I mean, what we've already seen of it is enough.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what else they could show me that could change my mind. Like, I'm already relatively on board. You couldn't show me anything without completely changing the game that would change how I feel about the game at this point.
Right.
So I just feel like I don't need to see it. Just move on. Show us something else. Just release it and give us something else.
It's like they've laid out a giant, delicious banquet for us. We're not allowed to go at it, dunk our faces into the mashed potatoes yet, but they started handing out hors d'oeuvres. And I'm like, I don't want hors d'oeuvres. I just want to go at that chicken leg. That's the sort of best analogy I can draw with this and Last of Us Part 2, really. So please show us crappy QuickTime events. That's all I want to see from Spider-Man. Next one we've got here is Ghost of Tsushima, which is Sucker Punch's brand new samurai game. Sucker Punch, the developers of Infamous. I'm really pumped for this, guys. I'm excited for Sucker Punch. This is the sort of game I do want to see more, because we've seen Sweet Bugger All, and the premise is very, enticing.
Agreed. This to me feels like, cause do you guys remember Onimusha?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a great game and stylish. This game looks like it's kind of, obviously summarized that kind of thing. Beautiful to look at. Give me more of this. Less of Spiderman and The Last of Us 2 and more of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, it's an open world samurai game. Like, imagine how satisfying it's going to be to cut bamboo with a katana. Man. Oh. It just makes me excited just thinking about that. Like, how far the tech's come to just be able to, if we can slice through bamboo forests, my God.
Think about the physics.
I know. It's
those individual bits of bamboo falling down on the ground. That's going to be great.
It's making me grin like a madman just thinking about it.
I think I want to see more of it, and I just like absolute fingers crossed. Although I mean, because we've seen nothing yet. We've seen a cinematic trailer, and that's it. So I am just hoping beyond all hope. Please, just do not be a Dark Souls type game.
Like Neo.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Don't be Neo by another developer. Like, be Infamous, but where you're a fucking samurai. Be what amazing. Sucker Punch do. Big, over the top, grandiose sort of, because that setting's not one that's done in. It's always, I guess it's, because they want to, treat the cultural stuff and the historical stuff with respect, but it's like, you can do that and still make it fucking ridiculous. Look at Dynasty Warriors, So I just, I think it's purely because of the trailer we've seen so far, that the visuals they've got, how it's all very dark and there's ash everywhere and fire and stuff. It's like, don't go dark. Or if you do, just don't go Dark Souls. Go Infamous.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you. I'd prefer it to be closer to something like The Witcher than Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I was.
But yeah,
sorry, I was just going to say, if it didn't have monsters, would that make you happier?
Nah. I mean, if it was still like Dark Souls in terms of gameplay and everything, no, because it would still it wouldn't be like we've got Neo. It doesn't. Right. It doesn't change whether you're fighting demons or, warring faction tribesmen. It's the same thing. You've just swapped the skin on it.
Right. Regan,
agreed.
Thoughts?
And I don't think we will. Yeah, I don't think we will get that because I mean, like you say, it's Sucker Punch, and that's just not them. I'd be shocked. I'd be like, "What are you doing? You've kind of thrown away your capital as a developer, your particular style." So yeah, I'm confident that we're not going to get just another sort of Souls-like. I think it'll have its own flavor for sure.
Yeah, if we get elements of like Tenchu and Onimusha, I'd be well chuffed with that. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm also just imagining those paper lantern or like those Japanese lantern style things and like the reflections and the diffusion of the light, and oh my god, that's gonna be so good. Anyway, Death Stranding, boys. This is another one of the big four that we're getting a quote unquote deep dive on. Also worried about this, but I'm really intrigued about this. At the same time, I'm sort of in a state of cognitive dissonance with this one.
Do you think Hideo will end up on stage?
Oh, he has to. Yeah, absolutely. Hideo's going to be there.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, what'll he be wearing?
I love this question. We always go back to this question, Dave. What would it? Sneakers. Sort of like a leather jacket. T-shirts with a new character on it. A new Death Stranding character, I should say, on it. And Hideo brand glasses.
Yeah.
Or it's just the baby in the jar on the on the t-shirt.
Do you think because he brought out that crazy mechanical arm at the what was it, PSX? I think he came out with that, like a model, a sort of real working version of that mechanical arm from Death Stranding, which was amazing. So I hope he brings, like a real working biological tank or something that from the previous trailer. That would be fantastic. But I mean, this is not one of the games I would have expected a deep dive on, because half the fun of this game is that it's so mysterious and esoteric, and like no one really knows what's going on.
It's going to be interesting to see, because like that's kind of the capital that they're playing on at the moment. So I wonder how they're going to handle that. Like, because we obviously want to know more. I want to know what it is. Like, what does the actual gameplay look like?
Yeah.
But then I also kind of don't. Like, it could be the game that just continues to be a mystery the whole time.
Imagine if we never got to find out what it was and we just had to go into it blind, like buying it blind. And that's not an experience
would
that
you
happened.
do it?
Absolutely, 100%. I would probably pre-order that if they did that with the marketing. Like, I want to support that sort of thing. Just taking it back to the roots and not having the internet anymore, where you can watch trailers and reactions and streams and all that sort of stuff, and just going into something completely blind. Man, that sounds amazing.
It'd be interesting.
I think. Well, yeah, it's a bit of a wild thing, but I still think this might be the case. Think of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes in comparison to Phantom Pain. Ground Zeroes just being a very bite-sized introductory chunk of it, which was the prequel to the main game, but was a separate, isolated thing.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do something like that for the deep dive. So, like, a standalone chapter that's almost like a demo, and that then after they've done the deep dive at E3, they might be like, and this demo will be available, for download on PSN in July or something like that.
That would be a great way to do it. I would totally accept that. That would be fantastic. Just to set the mood,
they're going to go into
it.
And they'll go into it real deep. They'll be like, this is how the game plays. This is sort of ideas in it, but it doesn't spoil anything of the full game because it's an isolated chapter that's not going to be in the game.
Perfect. That's such a Hideo move too, because he knows about preserving the experience, right? He's an absolute maestro at that. So I would love that. And I mean, I'm the person who has watched 1.5 hour analysis videos of these trailers, and enjoyed every second of it. Like, there is so much that Hideo packs into these things. These like crazy little riddles embedded everywhere, and like just watching people trying to figure out what everything means is so much fun. I highly recommend. Go on YouTube, find the longest video you can on Death Stranding trailers. It's great. I'm not knowledgeable.
Filtered by longest.
What was that? Sorry, Regan?
I was just gonna say, go to YouTube and just filter the results by the longest video.
I'm not knowledgeable enough to make to sort of discern that these things on this dude's dog tag are actually some crazy mathematical formula. So I'm not gonna make one of those videos. but I love watching everyone else make those videos. So, yeah, Death Stranding. That's probably one of my most anticipated games for E3, Death Stranding, just because we know so little about it. I'm really, really intrigued about that. Next thing I think we'll at least get a little glimpse of is Medieval, because Medieval was announced last year. It was last year. So I think we'll at least get some little tease of Medieval, which is fantastic, because that game is great. If you have access to an original PlayStation, go back and play Medieval and Medieval 2, because they are such good games. Then I think we will have Spyro. A little bit of Spyro there, Regan, for you, which is coming out end of this year sometime, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to say like September or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right,
Yeah.
So we might get a unseen, maybe one of the later levels from Spyro or something like that, and just show how it's coming along and that sort of thing.
Yep. I reckon we'll also maybe get like a little God of War DLC thingy.
Ooh,
perhaps?
you reckon? So Corey Barlog, the creative director of God of War, has come out and said there will be no DLC for God of War.
Well, what he said is there are no plans to ever release DLC. Okay.
That doesn't make any sense though, because think about that table thing in the game where there's all those realms that you can't access.
Sequels though.
One of us hasn't played God of War.
True. Well, there's a table.
Okay. Oh man. Now I'm not going to play it.
Sorry.
There's furniture in this world, hey?
God damn it.
Sorry. That was awfully close to the line, wasn't it? My bad. Yeah, I don't know. It seems set up for it, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, it's Prince money, that game, by the sounds of it. So yeah, that seems like a missed opportunity. But and Sony's fastest selling game of all time. So it seems like Sony would be on the horn with Corey, being like, "Yo, crack into these.
Come on, mate.
We got 5 DLCs
What's
planned.
this?
Chop.
I want to.
What's this shit about no DLC?
I want to take this moment where Regan almost spoiled something to share a very quick anecdote. Again about how incredible our local game store, EB Games, is.
Oh god.
So I was in there the other day because we were trading in a bunch of stuff to get PSVR, and EB's really the only place that does trade-ins, and with a level 4 card you actually get decent value.
Right.
And while I was in there waiting for Hannah to show up, the people behind the counter were having a very loud discussion while the store was packed, because this was like, 4:15. So, kids have finished school and they'd all gone in to check out the perpetual sales at EB. So the store was packed. And the people behind the counter loudly, they were discussing God of War, and one of them went, "Oh, don't give spoilers. I haven't finished it yet. I just got to the part where you find out that blank is a blank." And, just yelled, full volume, shouted a spoiler across the store that happens about halfway through the game. I was irritated. The man closest to the counter was, livid.
Oh, yeah?
He yelled at her. He yelled at the person behind the counter who said it, and was like, how are you actually capable of, within the same sentence, saying, "Do not spoil this for me," because massive fucking spoiler of a new release game. In a store surrounded by people who would care about having it spoiled. It was incredible.
Man. I feel so sorry for that guy. That is,
I was very tempted to walk up to her and tell her the final thing you find out at the end of the game.
Oh, man. Eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, so we should probably not go there. But, yeah, that is so... I would be livid, and I feel that guy's pain, because that is bullshit. When you work in a game store, one of the things you got to do, don't talk about goddamn spoilers. Jesus Christ, it can't be that hard.
Yeah, having played half of the game doesn't make you cool,
That's brutal, man. That's made me sad. We need to get our hype back up. So we'll move on. I reckon there'll be, actually I'm not too confident on this, but I would like if there was Horizon sequel teaser, maybe? Or is it too early?
Yeah, this is... It feels a touch early.
Yeah,
If you think
doesn't
about
it?
how
Maybe.
long it took them to show anything of Horizon after the
Yeah.
last thing the company made, it feels like an awful quick turnaround.
It does, and it seems they started making Horizon in like what, it took them 5 years or something, they said. And that, to me now, Guerrilla Games, you know, I know quite a bit about them. I've watched a bunch of documentaries and things and read up on them. They seem like the sort of team that would not be happy with compromising a creative vision for deadlines or for turnaround. So maybe it is.
Yeah, big
Maybe it
time.
is a bit early. Maybe it is. But you know,
I hope it's too early. For
Yeah.
sure. I'm with you on that, Abe. I hope they give themselves some time.
yeah.
Give me
okay.
some time to play Horizon.
You should get on that, man. It's oof. I actually went back and listened to our barbecue chat that me and Regan did on Horizon, early impressions and things like that. And you know, that game still holds up. I'd kind of forgotten how good it was, and just listening to that conversation again, I was like, oh yeah, that game is awesome. Like, it's really, really good. So the next one I've got's a little bit outrageous, but it's you know, there's been murmurings of this as well, and that's Devil May Cry 5 will be turning up at E3. And what better place than Sony? So, big sign.
5 is in like 5, or is in like who's making it? Ninja Theory or
Yeah,
the other ones?
So it'll be the guys who did the new DMC or
Yeah, I can get
DMC
behind
Devil
that
May Cry.
then.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe it wouldn't be Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 2
Again.
Again, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not sure how they'd go around that naming convention, but DMC, Devil May Cry, something like that. But yeah, again, most redundant title of any video game I've ever seen. It's insane. But yeah, that'll be cool, because I haven't played DMC, but I've heard it's fantastic. You love it, eh, Balthazar? You thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's for someone who doesn't care about the story or character development in those games. They just play it for the combat and everything like that. The reboot is by far the best. By far. And then even if you want to go into story, it was by far the best. Because it was real. The others were, you know, like, so... Well, I mean, it's obviously fantasy as well anyway, but the fact that it was set in the modern real world and demons weren't just people pouring through, you know, monsters pouring through portals. They were heads of corporate entities and stuff like that. It was, you know, it was cool. It was a good concept. It was good execution. People just cry because they can't fap over non-white hair, don't they?
It was also very self-serious, the original 4 Devil May Cry games, which never rubbed me the right way. I liked Devil May Cry 1 and 2, I think. I like the sort of combat and stuff, and I like the creepy puppet marionette things, and I think it was 1.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, the first one, yeah, really like that. But yeah, I'd love to play DMC. I'll have to pick that up on Steam as well, and give that a whirl. Does that combat in that, does that feel similar to Platinum Games combat at all?
It does, yeah, quite a bit.
I thought it would, yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's a bit different in that there's not as many combos with each weapon, but weapons almost chain together more easily than in Platinum Games, so you can kind of get bigger and more flashy combos.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, just from all the footage I've seen, it sort of reminded me of Platinum Games combat and Bayonetta and things like that. So yeah, we'll move into the next one, which is Mortal Kombat 11. Not sure if they'll call it Mortal Kombat 11, because that's a hard, you know, if you see a game on the shelf that's up to 11, probably not going to jump into it, are you? You're like, oh, I got 10 to catch up on. So I think that's why they went with Mortal Kombat X, and so I'm not sure what they're going to do now, but I reckon there'll be a new Mortal Kombat, whatever it is. NetherRealms and Warner Brothers, you know, still doing their thing, and Ed Boon as creative director, I'm pretty sure he's still there, so I'd be pumped for a new Mortal Kombat, why not? It's kind of gotten to the point where it's so disgusting to look at that it's, I don't know, it's hard for me to watch those games now in terms of the fatalities, because I'm like, man, that's probably how it would look if I, you know, decapitated someone and then cut their head lengthwise or something like. Yeah. it's
if I pulled a guy's spine out by his head. Yeah,
it's pretty grim, but at the same time, I'm like, it's sort of a good. It's a good expose or it's a good depiction of how far tech has come. Where I'm just like, oh, this is more like a snuff film now, like watching the fatalities and things like that. But yeah, I think Mortal Kombat 11 will show up at the Sony presser, if only briefly. And the last one I've got before my dream is a From Software game. Now, this is either going to be Bloodborne 2, or it's going to be Shadows Die Twice, or Shadows Die Twice is Bloodborne 2, and they've just been, concealing that for a while. Balthazar, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I thought that had to make a showing. Because we got the weird teaser thing. Was it PSX?
I think it was PSX, yeah. That intestines on that, like, spindle thing.
And I feel like it was Bloodborne because even though people are pretty sure that the, like, scroll in the background was Chinese characters or whatever, to me it just was clearly a trick weapon that was sitting on the scroll. So even if it's, not Bloodborne 2, it's a Bloodborne sequel in a different setting, like the Demon Souls, Dark Souls thing, where it's...
Right.
To me, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be Bloodborne 2, whether they call it that or call it something else and set it somewhere else, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like most of the time when they show a very short, early teaser at PSX, they show an actual trailer at E3.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd imagine this will have a showing.
Yeah, I'll be pretty pumped for that. I really, really liked Bloodborne. I never finished it because, man, I think it's just too hard for me, to be honest. I just can't get
even
through
when
it.
You get carried through the whole thing by Mike.
even then, it's still too hard for me. But I appreciated it for its incredible game design, and just the prowess of what's his face. I've forgotten his name now, and I feel like a fool.
What's his face? He's a great guy.
Miyazaki. But yeah, that'll be cool. Whether or not it's Bloodborne 2, called Bloodborne 2, or Shadows Die Twice. If it's got that same sort of From Software formula, I'm very intrigued in that. I think, yeah, I'll do my dream. I'll do my dream first because I haven't done my dream first when we've got to these sections. So my dream for the Sony conference is a Tony Hawk collection. It's a proper remaster of Tony Hawk's 1 to Underground, and not a shitty remaster like the Robo-Moto version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater that came out several years ago. That's my dream.
Yeah. That'd be great. I'd buy that for sure.
What about you guys?
I didn't really have a dream for Sony, to be honest. I'm kind of looking forward to just Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and Spyro. Like, I'm kind of happy with where things are at.
Sony's fulfilled all your dreams.
Yeah, well, but, they could probably release something on Switch.
Sony could release. Brilliant.
I don't know what, but yeah, that's my dream. Something.
Well, Crash is coming. Or I suppose it's not Sony, is it? But Crash is on Switch.
Yeah. Spyro on Switch, maybe?
I'm sure that's
great.
possible. That's possible. It's not owned by Sony.
Yeah, it's possible.
Owned by Insomniac.
Yeah. So down the track, perhaps. But yeah, something like that. I don't know. What about you guys?
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Tell me about Dragon's Dogma, because I know it only by title.
It's the only good Western interpretation of Eastern games.
Ooh.
It's basically Shadow of the Colossus meets JRPGs, in that you kind of have your stamina system where you climb up these giant monsters and stab them in the back while they're flying through the sky or whatever. It's a bizarre game, I'll be honest. The companion system is odd. The controls are janky. The story made no sense. The voice acting was weird. The theme song was weird Japanese heavy metal. It was fucking bizarre, but it was also phenomenally good game. Just something about it. you asked me, Regan, earlier what sold me on Sushi Strikers for Switch, and it's the same thing with Dragon's Dogma. It's everything. There's no one element that pushes it over the edge. It's somehow, when the complete package comes together, it's just fucking enchanting. There's something special about it.
All this weird, like, crazy, disparate, like psychopathic kind of thing just comes together.
That's
to
exactly
form
it. The weird mix between...
Yeah.
enemies dying in one hit, and then all of a sudden one that looks completely indistinguishable from everything else just fucking smashes you for no reason at all. Like, the game itself makes no sense, but it's just so... Dragon's Dogma 2 honestly would win E3, not for me personally, but just in general across the internet. If they would have announced Dragon's Dogma 2, they would win E3. People are obsessed with that game. It, like, you play it and it does something to you. It's like it lays eggs in your brain that just slowly over time, like, that things start to hatch and just root into your brain and give you weird fever visions of Dragon's Dogma 2 years after you last played it. It's, there's something about it. But if Dragon's Dogma 2, fucking A. But if they're going to announce Devil May Cry, it's unlikely because it's all Capcom, so, you know.
Okay. Right. Well, they've still got to announce Deep Down, so...
Well, that's interesting, right? Because that game looked so badass, and then there were the rumors that it was just a tech demo to sell PS4s, and then last year the trademark got renewed, so something's maybe happening.
Something's
Deep
brewing.
Down is Dogma 2. That's it.
Oh, that would be that's a wonderful conspiracy. I like it. I'm also going to have to pick up Dragon's Dogma on Steam. Because
it'll be cheap by now, and it's bizarre. I think you'll like it because there's a lot of similarities to The Witcher. If The Witcher was made by an equal-sized team, but where none of them had ever interacted with each other or interacted with each other at any point during the development of the game.
Excellent. So everything's super disjointed.
Yeah. I highly
great.
recommend it.
That is brilliant. I'm definitely gonna have to pick that up. I think there's going to be start being a segment in the podcast where I just end up with these crazy Steam games that I've never played, and now that I have a PC that can run things, I'll just end up talking about these mental, low-cost Steam games that I pick up and sort of detailing my thoughts on them. But I think that's... We went through everyone's dreams, so we'll move on to the final conference of E3. Makes me sad just saying that. Hasn't even happened yet. Nintendo, which is on Wednesday at the bright and early time of 4 a.m.
Oh, wow. Are they doing a conference, or is it going to be one of those just like
treehouse?
Yeah, so I stand corrected. Yeah, it's a Nintendo. I don't think it's a direct
treehouse.
That's what it is. Treehouse, where they show 3 hours of Pokemon at the start for God knows why.
Yeah.
So Nintendo is at 4 a.m. New Zealand time, so if you want to get up and watch that one live, power to you.
Otherwise, just get up at 7 a.m. and skip the first 3 hours of Pokemon.
This is true. Yeah, let's go Eevee and let's go Pikachu. So, Metroid Prime 4. We're starting off with a bang. Balthazar, you think this is going to be there?
Yeah. I do.
In a big way?
Not really much else to say. I think it's going to be there in a mention, in a passing mention.
Okay.
I think they're going to address it. I think we might see a bit more. I don't think we'll see a full trailer. We might see some assets or something on screen. You know, maybe some concept art while the director talks about how passionate the team is or some shit, you know, when they don't have anything to show, but they want to have a presence. I think it's going to be one of those. If they give us more, fantastic. But realistically, I think we're just going to get someone talking about how it's still in development, and we'll probably see some still images.
Oh, man. I'd completely forgotten why I loved Nintendo until just when you were just talking, because they are just... You cannot predict, ever, what Nintendo is going to do. They could have, CGI Reggie fighting Miyamoto. They could have Miyamoto like working on Zelda, and then Reggie walks in behind him. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Miyamoto," and then you think it's like an 80-year-old woman. It turns around and it's Mr. Miyamoto. They could have any of this crazy nonsense that Nintendo does, and I cannot wait. I absolutely adore Nintendo. But Regan, any thoughts on Metroid Prime 4?
Not really. I've not really been a huge Metroid hasn't sort of factored into my gaming history, to be honest. I'm keen to see the hype and see what the story is with it for sure, though. Yeah,
I'm with
any hype train. I'm getting on board.
Nice. Any destination. I'm with you on that, man. Metroid hasn't really been a part of my history either. I've played a lot of those Metroidvania games,
Sure,
but I've never actually played a Metroid, and I feel quite disgusted saying that out loud, and I would like to remedy that. And I have a Switch, so I will definitely be picking up Metroid Prime 4, and they might also do maybe Metroid Primes 1 to 3, or 1 to Other M, or was Other M part of?
Oh
3?
God, no.
Okay.
I mean, Other M's not a part of the Prime series, so they wouldn't do that. And they also want to pretend it never happened, so.
All right, okay. Good.
I don't think it's a far cry to hope for 1 to 3 though, because they're on the Wii U eShop, so it's like they're available in a format that they could literally just release on Switch and nobody would complain. They don't need to remaster it anymore or upgrade it or anything. Just put it out as it is now.
Excellent. Well, that brings me to the next talking point, which is Nintendo's online network, which they've finally sort of got up and running, I guess, or unveiled slightly. This is obviously going to be detailed in a big way, I suppose. And the thing I'm really pumped for, it's not even to do with their online network. It's that they took the idea of those Club Nintendo points and turned them into currency. And you can now use them to buy games, which is fucking brilliant. I love that. Why doesn't everyone do that? Balthazar, I think you mentioned on one of the podcasts, right? You got a massive discount on something. Was it Splatoon?
Yeah, I got the DLC for almost free because I just had gold points saved up from game purchases.
So good. Such a good idea. Reward your consumers with, something that's not hypothetical currency anymore. It's actually legit. It translates into legit money, which is great. But yeah, they'll detail their online network virtual console. Do you guys think?
They
hope so.
Said the virtual console won't be coming to Switch, but I think that just means they're going to give it a new name. I don't think that means they're not going to bring, previous game software emulation or porting to Switch. I think it just means they don't want... Because the Wii U flopped so hard, I think they just want to rebrand everything associated with it. So I think they are going to talk about some sort of past game digital reacquisition service for Switch. They're just not going to call it, the Virtual Console.
Call it the past games digital reacquisition service. Massively catchy. That'd be excellent. I mean, if they don't allow me to buy all those SNES games that I've enjoyed over the years, and the 64 games and GameCube games, they're just... I mean, it goes without saying with Nintendo, but they're making a really poor decision. It's just insane. Like, I bought Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 on my 3DS, and I paid, $20 for each of them, and I would play more for each of them on Switch. So charge me whatever the hell you want for classic games, Nintendo. I'll buy them as long as they're there. That's the mentality that every company wishes consumers had. So, Jesus. So I'm interested to see what the online network is like. Not too hot on their non-chat thing. You have to have your phone to use to chat to people.
And it's not good. I have the app on my phone and it doesn't work. Oh, man.
Well, that's not a great start.
just as a start, it doesn't work.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know how to make it work either. It just doesn't seem to connect to anything. There doesn't seem to be a service for it to connect to then work as a VoIP sort of thing.
Okay. Well, that's not awesome. But I just the idea of having my cell phone essentially calling someone.
Yeah, just
while I'm
fucking
playing.
call them, right?
Why? Why is that a thing in this day and age? That is insane. That I'm playing games and I have to ring someone on my cell phone to talk to them at the same time. That is so Nintendo, though. It is so weird.
It is.
Just, they're like resurrecting. They're going to bring the landline back in the next iteration of this, whatever it is. They're going wired again. We're going back to wires. All right. So, next announcement or prediction is Smash Bros. Obviously, Smash Bros. Was announced the end of the con last year. And it was just a small announcement with the Splatoon, the Squid Kids, and sort of a glimpse of a very evil-looking ragtag team of Nintendo mascots. So
with Knack in there somewhere, if I recall.
with Knack, sneaky Knack cameo. So they're obviously going to have more about Smash Bros. Are they going to have gameplay? Are they ready to show gameplay?
They could just show gameplay of any Smash Bros. And people assume it's the new one.
That's true.
The same.
That is just so absolutely bang on with that. It's like, well, probably is. It's probably new. There were ice climbers, were they? Yeah, they were in one of them. But yeah, that'll be cool. I've never been a huge Smash fan, and that sounds a bit blasphemous. I prefer Mario Party over Smash, so I'm not too hyped about this. But you know, it's always cool to see a new Smash and new high fidelity versions of all these characters and things, and scrapping it out and beating the shit out of each other. So that's always cool. Next we've got Star Fox Racing, which is all but I think it's called Star Fox Grand Prix or something like that. Pretty much confirmed now. So we've got a Star Fox Racing game coming in, which I think is supposed to be a sort of spiritual successor to Diddy Kong Racing. Similar sort of vein to Diddy Kong Racing, which I'm all for because Diddy Kong Racing is fucking great. So if we get that,
Diddy Kong Racing.
Exactly. If they just chuck that in over the top, just have it say Star Fox Grand Prix, but it just has that soundbite.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be great. I'm well into that. If it's something different than Mario Kart, you know, different enough to set itself apart from Mario Kart, that'll be great. I'll pick that up. We have Octopath Traveller, which is the sort of Final Fantasy-esque game from, I can't remember the team. It has an amazing art style. I probably won't play it, or at least play it for a while, because it looks too overwhelming for me, and it's an RPG. But it looks so gorgeous. I love the look of this game, like diorama style with like a tilt shift going on, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be kind of a niche-y sort of game, I think. Like, it's going to be those people who really enjoyed like the original SNES and NES Final Fantasy and things like that. Like, it's so.
Tell you what, specifically, it's going to appeal to the people who have been asking for a Bravely Default port to Switch.
Oh yeah,
right. It's basically that, but a new game.
Is it the Bravely Default people who made it?
I don't think it is. They've just, the art's very similar.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, if it follows that sort of Golden Sun or Chrono Trigger kind of thing, I'll definitely give it a look in, because I like that a lot. And I also just love that Nintendo doesn't give a fuck, and they have the sexy lady character who like lures men in. That's like one of her special abilities. Like, this is a world where you cannot do those sorts of things, and Nintendo's just like,
the one we're creating isn't.
Yeah. I like that they're just like, we don't care. Like, in Japanese culture, that's fine, and we don't give a fuck about Western world. So, yeah, go ahead. That's all good. So I like their not being sensitive, hypersensitive to things like that. I really appreciate that. So that'll be cool. Then we don't actually have, I don't have anything more. I've only got my dream. You guys got anything else you want to talk about in terms of Nintendo?
What I'd like from Nintendo is, so there's this little kind of niche game that I've had my eye on for a while called Moonlighter. That I think came up in maybe one of the Nintendo Directs at some stage as coming to Switch. It's definitely coming to Switch, and it's already released on PC and Xbox and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to buy it on any of those. I want to have it on Switch. I'd really like to see a release date for Moonlighter on Switch. Really cool looking game. It's basically like you're a little guy. It almost looks like a Harvest Moony type sort of top-down type thing. But the premise is you own a store and you sell things in your store, but then at night you moonlight as kind of a you dungeon delve, and you go out and you fight monsters, and you the loop is essentially that you get things that you then take back to your store to sell during the day. And it just sounds like a really charming little kind of loop and a really fun game, and I just want to see a release date for that, Nintendo. If you could just give me that, that'd be great.
Nice, man. I just googled that and was having a wee look at the review from PC Gamer. 78 out of 100, and it looks to be he looks to have enjoyed himself a lot. It doesn't push boundaries, but it is a cute and casual revival of an uncommon mashup. So
yeah, that's what I'm after.
Perfect.
I'm not worried about pushing boundaries, but yeah. So that's kind of my reasonable request, I suppose, from Nintendo.
Nice one. Balthazar, you got anything to add before we get into Dreams?
Yeah, I got a couple of things I think might make showing. Fortnite on Switch.
Oh, of course. Yep.
I think that'll make showing, and potentially with a release date for it coming online. I mean, it's already out everywhere, right? But yeah, a Switch online date. Also, I think we'll see some Blaze Blue Cross Shift Chrono people tag battle, whatever.
Words.
Yeah, I think we might see some of that, because that I believe is out now in Japan, so will be coming soon to us. Also, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 story DLC is in a month or two, so I think we might see a little trailer for that.
Nice.
That's all, I think, for reasonable, yeah.
So there's one thing that someone talked about on one of the podcasts I've been listening to surrounding E3 predictions, and he mentioned the idea of Breath of the Wild, all the assets and things taken from there. Oh, yeah, just that again, just releasing that game again, in game. But yeah, so Breath of the Wild, but redone in the vein of Majora's Mask. So all the assets and stuff are already there, obviously. They just need to redo things, tweak a few more things, do some more quests. Do you guys think that's a feasible thing? Would they revisit that well, the Majora's Mask kind of thing?
So, I'm not sure I understand the concept. So Majora's Mask, but in the vein of Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, I guess in the Breath of the Wild world, but with the Majora's Mask kind of time loop thing going on. I guess I'm not entirely sure. He just mentioned those two things.
I can't picture it, to be honest. I can't comprehend it, really. No, that's not to say it won't work. I just actually can't picture what that would look like or how it would play.
Okay, all right.
Because part of the whole time loop mechanic in Majora's Mask was that, you made progress in which the world reset every time you went back, but you kept your equipment and abilities.
Right.
So in Breath of the Wild style world where you lose your fucking equipment anyway because it breaks.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I don't know that it would work, but also I don't know that I'm 100% getting what they're thinking. So I don't know. I'd love to see more Zelda games in the vein of Breath of the Wild, though. So
I'm sure there'll be plenty of those, considering that is the most well-received game I think I've maybe ever seen. Yeah, probably ever seen. The tens, man. Sea of tens. It was amazing. Right, so we'll get into Dreams if no one's got anything else there. Balthazar, you want to start us off, man?
Nintendo Switch VR. We already have the screen, the display. So what I'm thinking here is along the vein, think of like the Samsung Gear VR and stuff like that, where it's just a head dock that you put the phone inside, and the dock thing, applies the effect to it to, duplicate the displays or whatever and make it 3D, and has the head tracking and everything in it. We've already got the tablet with the screen on it to display it in the handheld component of the Switch. We've already got a controller for each hand that has motion sensitivity and knows when you're lifting it and rotating it and doing everything. We literally have every component that you have to buy separately for stuff like the PC and the PlayStation to get the VR experience. All we're lacking is the headset with the motion tracking. It's far-fetched because Nintendo do their own fucking thing, and I don't think they even know what VR is. I think they got no idea what's going on. But
I think you're right.
I think that the Switch is really well suited to getting a VR headset style thing and having a few games release in VR. We got Skyrim, right?
Well, yeah. So I'm picturing sort of a thing that goes over your head, and it's got a thing to slot the Switch into, but it's as loose as the Switch dock. Rattles around in there and fucking falls out, smashes on the ground when you move your head. It really irritates me about the Switch dock.
But yeah, it would. It would essentially just be like a Gear VR headset. It fits in perfectly and snugly. Except I imagine it to be more like the Switch dock in that it would. Since we are talking a console and proper VR, it would also, connect into the USB 3 port and provide that additional processor power that the dock does as well, so that it can more easily render those simultaneous screens. Because, if you pick up your Switch and then you pick up your dock, the Switch is the heavy part of the Switch. The dock doesn't weigh anything. So I imagine a headset with the same minor performance boost that a dock has in it would not weigh anything either. Like, it wouldn't be any heavier than the PSVR headset or anything. So, yeah, I think it's perfectly reasonable, and I think it would make sense for Nintendo to go in that direction, but they've never done anything that's made sense, so.
This is very true, very true. Okay, you got any others?
GoldenEye on Switch.
Nice. I'll be like a GoldenEye remake?
Yeah. Just flag it.
Yep.
If they're not allowed to re-release it because they don't have Rare, just remake the game exactly as it was, but with all new assets and everything.
Wicked. I'm definitely down for that.
Rare will love that. Yeah.
They're not stealing it from Rare. They're stealing it from whoever made GoldenEye, the
That's
movie.
Rare.
The movie. They're stealing it from whoever made the movie.
I see. MGM, I think.
Yeah.
So distributed at least. Any other ones there, Balthazar?
No, that's it.
That's it. All right, Regan, what do you got for Nintendo? And God help you if it involves a Switch.
Yeah, well, this one's kind of guaranteed, isn't it? Which is amazing. So, there's rumors of like an actual proper, and it's going to happen, a proper Pokemon game, a proper one, not like these funny ones that are going on.
Yep.
So, I want a Pokemon game that's kind of built on the premise of like Breath of the Wild in terms of it being a massive open world, that sort of aesthetic, the exploration kind of sort of side to it. So I want them to take Pokemon and apply it in a slightly new formula to make it fucking awesome. That's my pie in the sky. Give me that.
Well,
give me that.
So there's that new Pokemon that's coming in 2019, which is going to be the Switch. It's going to be the Switch Pokemon. So you'd like to see footage and confirmation that that's what that's going to be, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that, but also like I can imagine that they'll just carry on in the same vein of Pokemons of the past.
Nah, I think it's got to be what you're asking for. The way they're talking about it, I think it has to be. They're saying this is the Pokemon reboot game that people have been crying out for years. So it's got to be that. Ooh. It has to be. Because that's the only thing that everyone has been united to cry out for.
If that happens, I may shed a tear. But just, think about how cool that would be.
Yeah.
Like, Breath of the Wild scope. Yeah. That tech, all of that shit going on. Pokemon, catching Pokemon on the grass, and
just even now, I'm just thinking I'm just picturing the start of Breath of the Wild when you walk out of the temple and you look and it's like that mountain in the distance, except, you're walking across and there's the mountain in the distance and then you fucking throw a Pokeball, get your Charizard out and fly to that fucking mountain.
Exactly.
There's a gym on top of it or something. I would
Give
be
it
so
to me.
excited. I don't get excited for games anymore. It's just a thing. I don't know what happened. My brain just snapped one day and I was like, when it's out, I'll get it and I'll enjoy it. But until it's out, I'm not gonna, not enjoy my current time by just waiting for this game, but I would be too excited for the release of this game. Like, I would I would make a fucking, rip off the wall calendar where every day I rip a page off, and it's one day closer to when that game comes out.
Yeah, it'd be next level. It'd be amazing.
Do it in VR. Switch VR and do that game in it.
Oh man! All right. Well, Regan, you got anything else there?
No, that's it. That's all I want.
That's your Pokemon one. Well, I mean, you guys know me. You guys know what I'm going to be asking for from Nintendo. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. You're
wanting Donkey Kong, aren't you?
Yep. New DK. That's all I want. I want to see what Retro's been working on. I want, if Retro's not working on a DK, I want someone else to have been working on a DK. I want them to have passed the mantle on, like Red did to Retro, and I just want more Donkey Kong. I just want a fresh Donkey Kong experience. I haven't played Tropical Freeze properly yet, but I want more Donkey Kongs in the pipeline for when I do purchase Tropical Freeze on the Switch, finish it, and and I'm ready for another hangabout with me apes and me bananas. So that's all I want. That's not too much to ask, I don't think. You Donkey Kong?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
So
easy.
Yeah. With Funky Kong DLC, I want that with everything. I want that with every game. So yeah, let me have it. So that's our E3 predictions podcast, everyone. It's if you've listened through both parts, thank you very much for sticking with us. We'll have to wait till Sunday when EA kick off their con to see if any of these things come to fruition, especially the Dreams parts. But yeah, thanks very much for listening. We're Overcast Gamer. We do usually a fortnightly podcast, although that might be on hiatus for a little bit as I set myself up I'm moving over to Europe. So I'm going to try and set myself up over there, get a wee office cracking, and we'll continue on from there. But we might be a little out for a little bit, and do apologise for that. But you can check us out on YouTube /Overcast Gamer. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We do streams on Twitch every now and then. We'll try and make those more regular. And yeah, we just do ridiculous, stupid content. We don't think we love video games, but we don't think they're the be all end all. And we love taking the mick a lot. So we enjoy doing that. And we're not a big corporate company. We're just three dudes who wanted to talk about video games and thought, hey,
in case you thought,
yeah,
hey, these guys are really professional.
Super professional, yeah.
They sound like they've got a lot of money behind them.
Carrying on and slagging off companies. So, we all worked at the same company. We started having some beers and we started talking. We had a shared interest in video games, and we all came from different backgrounds, and we all had different viewpoints on video games. And we're like, shit, we should probably start recording this. So that's the history of Overcast Gamer, and that was over 2 years ago. So we've been doing that ever since, and we will continue to do that far into the future. If as long as one of us doesn't die. So
I saw someone's foot fall off this morning in the bus, talking about sudden death.
Christ. Yeah. Well, we'll get into that
for another time.
Yeah, I think that's probably for another podcast. But yeah, check us out on all those places. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Toodles.